You realize it's lonely at the top. All of your enemies have been defeated, but it's a little bit lonely. Sometimes when you are a woman who has dealt with miserable, jealous, or envious people, you will realize as you cut those people out of your life, sometimes it can feel a little bit lonely at the top. Now, when I say at the top, I don't mean that you have reached such heights where you are so much better than other people. I mean that you have moved on to something better. There are some people, because they don't have the ability to celebrate you as you go along, sometimes it can be a little bit lonely at the top. A woman who has protected her peace, a woman who has cut off people who were miserable, jealous, envious, or disrespectful towards her. Women who have done everything they know to do, mentally, spiritually, and physically, to protect themselves from their enemies. Sometimes those women will find themselves more at peace, but also a little bit lonely. Separating yourself from miserable people will sometimes, as a woman, leaving you feeling a little bit lonely. Now, I say that to say it's lonely at the top. Anytime you plan to do something that is worth anything, you have to expect, as a woman, as a person, to go through seasons of loneliness. Understanding that your people will find you. Your tribe, your friends, your circle, they will find you. But sometimes it can be lonely at the top. You know, the more aware you become of different things, the more aware you become of other people's negative behavior towards you, the more aware you become of just how evil some people can be. It's like you are simultaneously protecting yourself, shielding yourself, but you're also pushing other people away. In that moment of realizing that it's lonely at the top, do not be surprised at the flood of emotions that will come over you as a woman. Remember that whatever you're doing for you, that is worth cutting off toxic relationships. And that brings me to the first point. When you start realizing that it's lonely at the top because some people could never celebrate you, they can't go on that same journey that you're going on, you refuse to accept dysfunctional and toxic relationships. You don't want to be around people who are going to make life hard for you. When you come to that realization that you don't want to be around toxic gossips, you don't want to be around people who smile in your face and then talk about you behind your back. And I hate to say this, the majority of human beings, from my point of view, do these kind of things. It seems like more people are eager to run to evil, to run into being a hater, to run into putting other people down and not really support other people in the way that they should. So it's lonely at the top when you defeat your enemies, but it's worth it for your peace of mind. There are going to be some people, they will try to make you feel as if you are missing out on something by removing toxic, miserable, jealous, and or envious people from your life. The only way you will begin to really feel as if it is lonely at the top is if you allow people to make you believe that you're missing out on living a full life, or as if your life is boring because now you're no longer surrounding yourself with enemies. You're no longer surrounding yourself with people who do not look out for you, but they do the opposite and come after you. So it can be a little bit lonely at the top. When you start focusing on, for example, your career, instead of being around people who always discourage you and try to put you down and try to make you feel bad about doing something for yourself, you cut those people off. What you'll start noticing, your career will start thriving. You'll start making more money than you ever made. You might love your work schedule, your coworkers, life is just flowing. But then there's no people around you to share it with. It's a little bit lonely at the top. This is the reason why, as women, when you work on yourself, when you start leveling up and doing better, you have to expect to go through seasons of loneliness. You have to go through those seasons of being by yourself and almost restructuring, curating a circle of influence with people who actually get you at this season in your life. So it's a little bit lonely at the top. And when I say lonely, and we're being completely transparent and vulnerable, this is more of a vulnerable video for women who I know may need it and women who can identify with feeling like they're lonely even though their life is going well. Because so many people are jealous and envious of other people, you can seemingly have everything going right for you and have nobody to share it with because they cannot handle seeing you happy. When you feel like it's lonely at the top, and I believe one of these celebrities spoke on that. I think it was Clarissa Shields. She was speaking on that in an interview not too long ago. She was speaking about how she helped so many people in her family, how she did this and did that, and nobody was there really to support her. People really didn't appreciate what she did for them. They wanted everything that she had. She said something to that effect. I say that to say, sometimes you can feel that it's lonely at the top because people never expected you to get there. When you are dealing with people who are often very miserable with themselves, when they are very jealous and envious, sometimes they can only accept you as long as you're going through something. This is something that a lot of women experience, but just don't know how to explain it, or they can't really recognize what that is. People who can only accept you and want to be friends with you and be close to you when you're going through something, and then seemingly dismiss you when things start getting better, that's when those feelings of it's lonely at the top comes in. And again, I want to reiterate, when I say at the top, I don't mean like, oh, you're just bigger and better than everybody now. I mean that you are better than you were before. And there are some people who cannot handle a better version of yourself. There are going to be some people, when you start realizing that it's lonely at the top, have you ever noticed, as long as you are complaining, as long as you are talking about how bad your life is, as long as you are talking about everything that is wrong with yourself and in the world, there are people who will listen to you. They will call you. They want to be around you constantly. They just love your presence. They want to be in your presence when you are gossiping, complaining, and murmuring. But if you get out of that and you start realizing that gossiping, complaining about life is not productive, and you really want to do something that is going to help you become better as a woman, there are going to be people who are not going to receive that. Like, they don't like that version of you. They like the version that likes to complain all the time. They like the version that likes to always talk about how bad life is and how bad people are and nothing will ever get better. But the moment you get out of that and say, hey, I can only focus on myself. I can only fix me. I can only do the best I can do for me. I can't change people. So you start having a more positive and optimistic outlook, nobody's around. You start talking about how good God is and how much he's done for you and how you're seeing things change in your life and how you're succeeding in this area and that area. Suddenly, they're not interested in you. Suddenly, they look at you like you're a little bit boring. It can be lonely at the top. When you start getting better spiritually and mentally, I want to speak on that for a moment. When you as a woman starts growing spiritually, there are going to be some people, they don't want to hear nothing about God. They don't want to hear anything about spirituality. They don't want to hear anything deep pertaining to how that changed you and made you a better person. It can be lonely at the top because your mindset and your understanding of life and yourself and how you see things change. When you're dealing with people who still have that superficial, shallow way of looking at life, they're not going to vibe with you. The friends that you used to have when you talked about absolutely nothing, they might trickle off and now you don't have no friends, but you have peace of mind. It's lonely at the top. When you start protecting your mental stability, where now you do not let people just dump all their problems and their issues on you, you start recognizing that friendships are supposed to be reciprocal, meaning if they come to you with problems, you're supposed to be able to go to them with problems too. And when you start elevating in your mindset and realize that you can't do that, every time you try to come to them with something, they just shut you down. You start recognizing it's a little bit lonely at the top. So people who go through seasons of loneliness, you're not weird for feeling like nobody is there for me. I was there for everybody and nobody's there for me. A lot of times when people start backing away from you, especially when you are doing something good, maybe you're going back to school, maybe you are elevating in your career, maybe you are getting closer to God, that is a sign that the people who were in your life for that season that you were in, now they're starting to trickle off and make room for new people to come into your life, for people who can identify with the woman that you're becoming. Now, I'm not saying that in order for you to change and elevate, that all of your friends are going to disappear or get distant, or, your family is going to get cold towards you or distant. But let's be real. Sometimes it's lonely at the top because those people do not like the elevated version of you. They don't like the healed and the healthy and the aware version of you. They don't like the version of you that no longer tolerates disrespect. They don't like the version of you that is not silly-minded and now you're going after wisdom and not just knowledge. They don't like the version of you that actually likes to partake in things that's going to make you smarter, more intelligent, more wise as a woman. They don't like the you that has standards and boundaries. So now they don't want to be around you. And that's okay. It can be a little bit lonely at the top. It can be a little bit lonely when you are growing as a woman. I can say in my own life, as long as I was tolerating people's disrespect, as long as I was constantly overlooking some of the little crazy things that people would say and attempt to do, everybody was cool. As long as I was allowing other people to make me feel uncomfortable and not say anything about anything, tons of friends, tons of people all around me. But the moment I stopped dealing with those things, the moment I would say something that I didn't like, everybody backs off. Sometimes it's lonely when you are changing and growing as a person, as a woman. So don't be surprised if you are going through a season where you feel like, where'd all the people go? Where'd all my friends go? I used to be close to my cousin and now we're not close. Did something happen where you changed for the better? And I know that might be weird to think about, but sometimes when you change for the better, there are going to be people who don't like that better version of you. Now, what will happen when you start changing for the better? Even though it can be lonely at the top, you open up room for the right people to come into your life. Sometimes when you change as a woman and start becoming better, the people who used to be close to you, family, friends, whoever, they might not be close, but then all of a sudden you have people around you who are not just interested in you as a person, but now they're actually able to give something to you that's going to help you. See, a part of going through that lonely season is leaving room for the right people to come into your life, leaving room for the right opportunities to come in. You start making friendships and connections with people who can support you in the season you are in now, and hopefully on into the future. You start being around women who embrace their femininity. You start being around women who don't get an attitude or feel uncomfortable when you start speaking about God and spirituality and, the deeper things of life. You start getting courted and, sought after, or as they say, chased by men who appreciate not just your beauty, but your depth, your personality, and who you are as a woman. They start seeing beyond all of the aesthetic and start seeing you as like a real asset. You start attracting a different caliber of men. You start attracting a different caliber of friends and people. Now you have people around you that don't want to just use you or take advantage, but now they actually like you for you. Another thing that happens when you go through a season of loneliness and now you have new people coming into your life, you will start experiencing what it feels like to be able to just be yourself. Sometimes when you are around people who are a little bit too comfortable with who you used to be, you can never truly be the woman that you're meant to be or express your true personality and character. It is so freeing and, as they say, liberating to be around people that you don't have to perform with. You can show your true personality, your weirdness, your character, your shyness or your reservedness without somebody looking at you as if, what's wrong with you? You're weird. You're this and that. When your right tribe finds you, the right people finds you after going through a season of loneliness or feeling like nobody is there for you, you will start being free to just be who you are as a woman. You can show your real personality. You don't feel like you always have to perform for people. And I say that because that's so important. Sometimes being around people who only can accept you as long as you're being and acting the way they want you to act, sometimes it can make you feel like you're always performing for them. That can be exhausting. So it can be lonely at the top. When you are elevating in your finances, in your personality, in your spirituality, in your mental, even in your physical and how you look and how you feel, it can be different to level up around the same people who only accept you in one way. Don't feel bad about feeling lonely and understand that most loneliness is temporary and that you have to go through that season of loneliness in order to get to that point in life where you have the right people around you because your mind is right, your emotions are stable, and you are now sure of who you want to be around and how you want to be as a person. This is Soft Strength Society, where we overcome, evolve, and elevate as women. If any of that interests you, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, and make sure your notification bell is turned on so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the cute little butterfly emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.